So proof that evolution is real and not a theory. Number one, fossils. If fossils have proven one thing over time, it's this, that there were life forms a long time ago. Now, seeing how you have millions of years and then you have the present and then into the future, if you think about it, back in the day of prehistoric times, those things reproduced up until the point where we live now. So if you think that dinosaurs looked a lot different than they probably evolved over time. So without a doubt, the genetic makeup, the DNA, the blood cells, everything changed over time, and therefore you got a different picture, or rather different organization. Second, this is another very interesting point that evolution is in fact real. One of the most common arguments that you hear from people is they say, why don't all, like for example, if humans have evolved from monkeys, why don't we look like monkeys? And that is a really good question, which I can answer with science. As a matter of fact, the question you are specifically asking is, why is it that we have so many offsprings? For example, you have a lot of different monkeys that look the same, however they act differently too. We call those different species, for example. And then it's not, monkeys aren't just the only species that do this. There could be like orangutans, there could be apes, there could be chimps, baboons, and I mean, you know, you name it, just name a few. And then we could go to birds, for example, where you have like peacocks, eagles, hawks, falcons. You know, every single animal that falls under, like if you were to study like a dichotomous key, for example, so you have like a specific animal, okay, so like mammal, bird, plant, fungus, you know, whatever animal kingdom it belongs to. And it's like, you know, you have like, okay, so you could have like, it could be under bird, and then you'd have like all these different birds, you know. So like every single thing is different because it belongs to a different subgroup in science or different classifications. So you've got Homo sapien, humans, and then you have like different apes and all that. But you know, humans evolved differently, but you know, they still consider our DNA to be, you know, 97% of I don't specifically know the number. I think it might have changed over time, if I'm not mistaken, but I was always told it was 97%. It looked like other animals, or rather monkeys. I don't know specifically what species the human race really looks more cousins to, but you know, it seems like monkeys are, which I don't doubt. But when in doubt, you know, I gotta do a little more research on like what species the human race really looks more like in the monkey kingdom. But humans are their own species, so we are essentially animals according to that. Our just lifestyle is completely different, but yeah, it makes sense. Another example you could look at is you could pretty much study like half-lives and all that. Like evolution has proven that, you know, over time, like, and this is like a really weird one. You know, half-lives are usually used to measure like how old something is and how. But if you really think about it, evolution, like as far as DNA, I mean, you know, half-lives have proven how old something is, but you can also prove with a half-life, technically, you know, how things change over time. So to give it the time that humans have been around, and we estimate the time zones and the time periods as well, you can pretty much tell that DNA has also evolved over the years, because not everything looks the same. Let alone, you know, there were species that went extinct. Some of them were actually recreated somehow. You know, it's really interesting, and this is just to kind of give you an idea. But you know, if anybody tells you evolution isn't real, then the person probably, you know, use those arguments against them, because it really, you know, evolution is defining that things change over time, and they do. Everything has a cycle, but but over time, everything changes very slowly, but it does in fact happen.